Yes, I'm so glad that you're here. Um,
Hi, Brooke. Good to see ya.
Hey, Natalie, baby. Everybody on WhatsApp is talking about ACIM. Alex is so great. ACIM. All of this stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Am I the only one here who doesn't know what ACIM is? I'm like, you guys enlighten me. And everybody started talking about Alex and Sunday and Wednesdays at 7 a.m. He's so fabulous. It's a course of miracles. He's just, I was like, really? I go, okay, I need to check this out. And I adore Alex. I'm like, let's check it out. So
Thank
I'm
you.
here. I'm surprised I'm, so energetic at 7 a.m., but I'm here.
You always bring it. It's just it can't be
I
helped.
love you. It's
It's
beautiful.
your energy's contagious. I love it. Every time you're in a room, even like if your camera's not on, you just light up the room, the Zoom room.
I
Like
love you.
we're here. I love it.
You guys are so sweet. I appreciate you. You made my day. Thank you.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that don't know, and I'm sure more people will be hopping on the Zoom shortly, but for those of you who don't know, A Course in Miracles is this book. Okay, so it's a 3-section book, which is a really self-practice, spiritual book, but really done better in a group setting because it's hard to get through all this text. It's very thick. It's simple, but to the twisted mind, to the dual mind, it's very hard to understand sometimes. And there will be moments that when you read the course, everything becomes clear. And then there will be moments where the ego gets in the way and is like, I don't really know what I'm reading. It will be hard to even get through 2 different sentences. So as we go through here, and the answer to that is the opening of the heart, is by going into the heart, listening from the heart space. Listening from the head space most of the times creates a lot of confusion for us. Hey, Jake from the Instagram, if you want to come into the Zoom, just go into my link in the bio and just join the register for the ACIM call on my link. Good morning, Rose. So, what is A Course in Miracles? And Natalie's really gonna, Natalia's really gonna guide us this morning. I'm kind of going through some like personal stuff. I'll do my best here, and probably by going through this, it's gonna help me through it anyways. But this is something that I've been teaching for the last 4 years and studying for the last 6, and a lot of people have come through this call. It's so amazing to see people hop in here that hasn't been in here in a couple years and share like this is exactly what I needed to hear. And so I my hope is that everyone that is here just really gets exactly what they need, because I always do. And it seems like I'm leading it, but most of the times I'm learning from everybody else that's here, from the shares in these rooms. Really impacts my life greatly in the way that I do relationships. And lately it's been challenging. I've been experiencing a lot of overwhelm in different areas of my life, and that hasn't happened in about 6 years since I started studying the course. So yeah, I'm going to speak into that a little bit. I'll probably get a little bit vulnerable with what I'm sharing and what's going on in my life. And yeah, I want to just send a prayer out for everyone that's listening, everyone that feels the ripple effect of this call today, and that as you're here on this call, that your heart opens a little bit more, that the barrier and the armor that we've created around our hearts open up, and that people in our lives feel that, and then people in their lives feel that, and the ripple effect just continuously go out and impact the world in that way. And it all begins in our own mind, right? And so I'll just kind of start by sending that prayer out, and a really prayer for myself in this moment, you know in my own life, that I may see things through love and trust in the Holy Spirit, and that where we're all headed and where I'm headed is all full of blessings and love. So A Course in Miracles. I'm just going to read the introduction real quick, just so everybody gets a sense of, what it is that we're even talking about, and perhaps we'll open our minds to the course, because when we're not open, we might as well not even be here. Right? So let's just be open, and then I'm going to let Natalia kind of take over the direction of this conversation today. So the introduction to the course says this: this is a course in miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all encompassing can have no opposites. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way: nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So that's the introduction to the mean, and I'll just kind of pick out a couple lines here. It's a required course. That means we are all going through the course, whether we like it or not. And we used the example last week of being on the current, being on the river, that it's going in this direction. How you receive it and how you surrender and you accept to the things in your life, it depends on you. The experience of it depends on you. Depends on your willingness to let things go and surrender to what is. Because we're going down this way no matter what. You can do it kicking and screaming, or you can do it with grace and with peace of mind. So it is a required course. We're all going. The time it takes for you to decide the experience that you want to have, that is up to you. That's why it says only the time you take it is voluntary. You can't establish the curriculum, but you can't decide what part and how you will go down this river of life. The course doesn't aim at teaching the meaning of love. It is something that we experience, and it's moment to moment that these experiences of love open our minds and create clarity in our life. It is beyond what can be taught. It does aim at looking at all the blockages to the awareness of love. And the blockages to the awareness of the presence of love is all the judgments, all the stories, all the identification to things in this world that will get in the way. We will get absorbed into money, into power, into status, into just this character, this identification we've created for ourselves. The defense of that gets in the way of love, of real love. Okay, we're not going to define what love is, but we will look at all the things that love is not, because when you point to those things, you will have those experiences of love. And I'll share a story real quick of my just yesterday and today. The opposite of love is fear, or is it? What is all encompassing can have no opposites. So even fear itself is an illusion, is an idea that we've created in our mind and that we've made up. Because according to God, all the things that are happening is all happening in the spirit of love. So this course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way: nothing real can be threatened. It cannot be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Fear is unreal. It does not exist. We've made it up. And the way that we know we made it up is that our minds change about it all the time. One circumstance, I could be really upset at it in one moment, and the next moment I'm not. That means it isn't even real. What's real can never change. And that's how we navigate. That's how when we study the course, it's literally about being able to identify what is real and what is not. What is the truth and what is a perspective? And it's my own perspective. And we have to start to recognize when we project our perspective onto other people and instill and create more fears when it's not the truth. The truth is love. The truth is that any situation that shows up, the only appropriate response to those things is with love and kindness and compassion. Everything that happens is either love or a call for love. It's a calling for love. Shootings, there was a recent shooting up in Connecticut or wherever that just happened a couple days ago. We can go into the judgment and the attack and blame this person and blame that and blame everybody. But how much is there's just calling for love in that space? The possibility of love entering our mind is there, but we aren't seeing it because our own judgments are in the way. And so it's very simple. Either you believe in your own strength or you believe in God's strength or whatever you want to call it, the universe, cosmic intelligence. You don't have to call it God, but it's really all the same thing. And it's about removing this dual mindset, dual thinking in our minds to that there is only one. And the vision of one costs you the vision of the other. There is no halfway in, halfway out. I can't half believe in love and half oh man, one of my really, really good brothers is on Facebook right now. Thanks for being here, man. Thank you. Thank you. Love you, brother. So the vision of one world costs you the vision of the other. There's no halfway in believing that only love exists. Anytime that you see anything other than love, the vision of love is gone. We will go down the path of chaos. And as we're talking about that, you can only flow down the river of life. The current is going in this direction. You don't have a choice. You can collect a whole bunch of stuff on the way and be hurt and brokenhearted when some of those things get lost to you. We all know what those things are, right? And then there's things that are called to you. I wrote today because I've been experiencing a lot of overwhelm lately, and it's been challenging. It's been challenging in my business. It's been challenging. It's showing up in my relationship with my wife. And so, yesterday I exploded. After having a really great call with my team, we shared. There was a lot of tears, I would say, and literally, and people just feeling this sense of love and the connection and remembering again. And that's what we do on our team Legends call. It's like we're doing real estate, but are we doing real estate? Yes, we are doing real estate. But we're going into we talk a lot about heart speak. We speak to each other with our hearts and not our minds. And we connect that way. And it was just pure bliss. And then afterwards I get into the biggest fight of my life with my wife. And I punched a wall. I punched a super solid wall in this house. And I don't know, maybe my hand might be broken. I don't know. But and I didn't think I would even have anything in me to be able to run this call. I was going to cancel it. And I remember that Natalia always shared, like, if you ever can't have this call, I will run it for you. And so Natalia is here with us, and thank you. And I thought I wouldn't even be able to get a word out this morning, but it's coming, and I'm going to give you the chance to take over after this. But I just want to share my story real quick. And this morning, as I'm reading the course, and last night, I'm like, you sent me Marianne Williamson's live thing. And Marianne Williamson, guys, she has changed my life. And, the things that she has shared, like everybody's like, what are you reading for multifamily? I'm like Marianne Williamson's The Law of Divine Compensation. I'm reading that book to teach me multifamily, because everything is love. It's about how we do relationships. It isn't about anything else. Everything is just showing us how real we are making the world and how unreal we are making love. And so, as I was thinking, a thought came to me this morning that it's about not hiding it. All this stuff that comes up. It seems like it was such a bad fight, the overwhelm and freaking out and just having these things happen. But the course says God and spirit doesn't ask anything of you but the willingness to let these things come up and not hide it. First, you reel it in, knowing that it isn't an outside factor. It isn't my wife that caused it. It isn't the real estate deals. It isn't all these things that caused it. There's a part in me that is not accepting peace and accepting spirit to flow through me in a graceful way. Right? I'm not accepting it. I'm fighting it. There's a part of me that's happening. So I'm having the overwhelmed feelings. And so, yeah, you reel it in first, knowing that I am the one that projected this thing into my own life. It's manifesting because it's in my mind. And the second is not to hide it, because sometimes we'll experience it. For the last month, I did hide it. I held it and energy came out sideways, and either you can't ever actually hide it, but you can hold on to it for a long time. But once it comes out, Holy Spirit takes it and just heals it right away, and it's gone. And this morning, I just happened to hop onto Marion Williamson's live, and I wrote something on there, and she acknowledged it, and she told me to email her. Like, what? She's my biggest hero in the world. And I told her I'm throwing a conference, a virtual conference called Legends Impact Summit, and that I would love to have her as a guest. And so I wrote her an email to her personal email address. Marianne Williamson. If you want to begin, just start with a book called A Return to Love. That book will change. Yeah, right there. Thank you, Natalia. That book will change your life. I should probably pick it up and read it again. And a lightness just came over me, and it's literally 10 minutes before this call. The Holy Spirit doesn't have a personality, and it isn't saying, oh, you're not as good of a person, so we're going to let you hold on to your anger and all your overwhelm for 15 years. And then somebody else, I like this person better, and instantly it's gone. The second you let it come up, the healing begins. And so I wanted to just start off today by sharing that. I don't know where this call is going to go, but I want the call to, my prayer is that all this energy transmutes into love and touches everybody in such a way that serves your life and serves the people around us. So, yeah, that's my starting of this, and we'll probably read a couple things throughout this call. But Natalia, I know I asked you to take over, so you must have wanted to say something and prepare something. So please just take over.
Thank you, Alex. Even though a part of me knew that you would share with us as you always do. And it reminds me of what the course says about what the teacher and the student is. And I think you exemplify that so beautifully. And the course says that a teacher of the course and a student of the course is that the person that does so by demonstrating. And I think you do that over and over again. And I thank you for that. And by being with us here today and sharing open and vulnerably as to what you're experiencing in your life right now, it's exemplifying and demonstrating us what a teacher of the course really is. So thank you. So yeah, I was going to read the introduction, but you've already taken care of that. And another thing that I wanted to share, and that's why I had this book here with me, is A Return to Love. And Marianne Williamson says that she wrote this book, and it's kind of like the cliff notes to the Course in Miracle. And so that's why I think I love it so much. And in that book, she shares that she covers piece by piece. And when she covers the introduction, she says that what this means is that only love is real, and that it's an eternal creation, nothing can destroy it. and anything that is not love is an illusion. And when we remember this, we'll be at peace. And then she goes on and further describes that when we're thinking of love, we're co-creating with God. And when we're not thinking of love, that's when she says we're hallucinating, because we're no longer because love is the only thing that exists. So when we're not thinking with love, it's just simply an illusion. So that's what I wanted to cover about the introduction. And then I myself, I can share a little bit of my personal experience with the course. So I actually bought this book, and this is what the course looks like. I know Alex showed it in the beginning, but I know a lot of us joined after. So this is A Course in Miracles, and this is quite a big book. And I actually started my own journey of self-development and healing about in 2010. And somewhere along the line, it's like somewhere along that path, I purchased this book and I had it sitting on my shelf for a long time. And I had opened it and I had heard about it, and it was just collecting dust in my bookshelf. And then I started attending these classes, Alex's classes, and every Wednesday and every Sunday, about a year and a half ago. And then that's when I really started diving into the course. And for me, I was going through a challenging time in my relationship with my former partner. And it was then that I started really diving into the course and really reading every day. And so 3 parts of the course is the first part is the basically the text. The second part is the workbook for students. And in the workbook for students is 365 lessons. And now I read a lesson every day. And it's so perfect. And the part is that's what I started reading, which is and because I remember one of this book is I in classes, I was taking a class with Marianne Williams, and I listened to the live every Tuesday. She has a live class. And it's so powerful. And I just happened to have also a miraculous moment with Mason not long ago when I was on her class. I raised my hand and she called on me, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And one of the things that I had asked her was, when is the student ready to teach? And she answered that so beautifully. And she said that all of us are teachers and all of us are students. And she further said that all of us are teachers by demonstrating another way of being, which is what I started my conversation with all of you, and which I think Alex does so beautifully. And all of us are students because we're always facing or going through something in our lives that's teaching us something. And this learning and teaching happens simultaneously. And this is where I wanted to read today, if I can. May I? I'll go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
This is on page 1 from the Manual for Teachers. So it's the 3rd part of the course, and says, the role of teaching and learning. It's the introduction to the Manual for Teachers. The role of teaching and learning is actually reversed in the thinking world. The reversal is characteristic. It seems as if the teacher and the learner are separated, the teacher giving something to the learner rather than to himself. Further, the act of teaching is regarded as a special activity in which one engages only a relatively small portion of one's time. And where it says the teacher giving something to the learner rather than to himself, I think this is exactly what you said earlier, that every time you show up to these calls, And although in this world we're seeing you as the teacher, when you jump on, you understand that in the teaching, you are learning as well. And then it continues and says, the course, on the other hand, emphasizes that to teach is to learn. And so that the teacher and the learner are the same. It also emphasizes that teaching is a constant process. It goes on every moment of the day and continues into sleeping thoughts as well. To teach is to demonstrate, and there are only two thought systems, and you demonstrate that you believe one or the other is true at all times. And I just wanted to pause there for a moment. So yeah, the first time I read that, it was very powerful. And I think throughout the course pinpoints many places in which the world has it upside down. And in this case, it talks about the teaching and the learning, and how in the world we see it reversed from what it actually is. It happens simultaneously, but we see it as this different thing. So I don't know if anybody has anything to say, or you, Alex, want to jump in.
Yeah, and I've said this a couple times. We all believe that love exists. The ego lets us believe it, but we don't believe it. We don't believe in love only. We believe that, okay, there is love, but because there is something that is opposite of love, that always wins. And my coach actually just worked with me on this past week, and he was like, listen, all things in this material world is designed to collapse and kind of wither away. All things. And if you look at it like a garden, the things that are important to you in your life, you have to tend to it every single day. The moment that you stop tending to it, it doesn't mean it collapses right away, but your regard for it begins to collapse. And then one day goes, and then the next day goes. And then you forget to say I love you to your wife. And then you forget to go to the gym. And then these things just start falling, and pieces of your life just kind of starts falling apart. And we don't even know where to pick up. The garden, just weeds are growing everywhere, and things are dying, and we don't even know where to start. And that's how the overwhelm happens when you're not tending to these things every day, every week, every moment. These calls are so important to me. And I say all the time, like, oh my God. So we missed the call on Sunday because I was at the conference. Obviously, it was probably because now it didn't give me an opportunity to have this outlet. And of course, whatever, all this stuff happened, right? I mean, I feel like these calls, like you said, the teacher, students, I'm having learning moments on these calls only 100% of the times. And I recognize that. That's why it's so important for me to continue doing it. It's actually my dream and my goal to just do this for 7 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, I just want to do this. Like, that's what, passive income. I need the passive income. I need to be able to put money in places in real estate so that I can just do this all day. And 2 years ago, I lived in Peru, and this is kind of what I did all day. I was just living A Course in Miracles because I didn't have anything else to do. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, the mountains are beautiful around me, and then I don't know, went to a bunch of different places where we just sang together. I learned to play the guitar, we sat around fires, sang mantras for 5 hours at a time, and things were so clear. Like, it wasn't complicated. The world was not complicated. And I come back to the States and immediately, like, back on the grind. And so, think about how much time we put into these moments of cultivating love in our hearts versus just running around from point A to point B all day. Space where I'm just live all day. I don't know, talking about, and just keep it at any point can chat and put love in your perspective And whenever I go out without my wife, I don't ever be alone. And not that I'm okay, with being myself. You know, I want to share. I'm always like share. I should want to share with my brothers, and I'm to try because I want to serve as a reminder all the time that nobody's alone. That somebody has got your back, and this is a space for it. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to share that.
When I heard you say that, I
Oh,
thought of
yeah.
so I had a friend call me yesterday, and she had just moved to Memphis, Tennessee, and she's experiencing some overwhelm, and her house is full of boxes, and so she reached out for support. And this was yesterday, and I just came back from a weekend away at a wedding of another friend of ours, and I don't know why, but when she asked for support, I said, okay, so how can I support you? She went ahead and said, it'd be great if you fly in, or and I said, or I could drive. So I have Jonah, who's my dog, and I said, well, I could either drive there with Jonah, or I could fly in, help you out in whatever it is that you need in your home, figuring out all the boxes and things like that. And then I'll come back. I can work from home. I'm virtual, so I have, the appointments that I have, I can handle that, so I can make it happen. So long story short, she went ahead and booked the car, and I was like, okay, great, Jonah, let's go. We're heading to Memphis. And at that moment in time, I wasn't understanding as to what I was saying yes to and what I was saying yes to. But after the conversation, I remembered, I was like, well, you know what? I just went to a wedding, and I had another friend of mine showing up in a big way to let me know that I was loved and supported when she stayed in my house with my dog when I needed her. So I had my friend reach out to me and ask me for support. And I went ahead and I said yes. And so I was supposed to be driving, but I'm going to almost got to drive early this morning. It didn't happen. And it was like the weirdest situation. Going back to the screen, the car to get the car this morning. And then me, I went all this morning. I all the fun. She needs to and that moment to the airport. I'm getting the car. I'm to Memphis. I'm working from there, and then I'm heading back. But then God had also other plans, and I think the way that I handled it, I had an issue with the Uber driver as I hit there. And then I had an issue getting the car, and they didn't have a car available, even though I had called before. So although I had a plan and how that was going to plan out, and I was experiencing all these things, and then at the end of the day, at first I was triggered because all these things were happening, and I was like, "What's going on?" I thought this was like supposed to be easy, but then it was really being and then surrendering. I could have kicked and screamed, or I could have just surrendered to the current. And I was like, okay, then that means I get to be on this call today. And here I am. I'm not driving to Memphis. I'm on this call today. So, but I think that just exemplifies, about how in the past I probably would not have been able to handle the situation like I handled it yesterday. Just surrendering to life's current. And I was like, okay, I thought I was driving to Memphis. Okay, I guess I'm not anymore. And I just surrendered to it. And I was like, I am where I need to be at all times. And sometimes when I step into the space of I want things to go a certain way, that's when I start getting confused. And at the end of the day, it's not my will, it's the will of God. And when I surrender and I trust and I have faith that God's got it, that's when things start falling into place. And one of the things that I didn't know before the course that this reminded me of was the distinction between magic and miracles. And it's funny because you, Alex, have covered it a couple of times, but I never really got it until I got it. And I think it was when I heard Marianne Williamson say it again, and she distinguished magic. She made a distinction between magic and miracles. And she said magic is when I use the power of my mind to have something happen how I want this to happen, trying to use the power of the universe to serve my to-do list. Like, this is my agenda and this is what I want. So in the moment that I offer my support to my friends and I said, okay, I'm going to Memphis and this is how it's going to happen. If I would have stepped into wanting this to happen the way that I wanted to happen, I would have stepped into magic. But then she further described what a miracle thinking is. A miracle, she said, is it's when I place myself today in service of the universal love that when left to its own devices, it will lift me and other beings to the highest level of joy and possibility. So basically, when I get out of my own way, that's when joy and possibilities start opening up and miracles start happening. But before, I used to not understand the distinction between magic and miracles, and I would use them interchangeably. But really, I think what landed for me was that because I was using magic, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's words are symbols, words are literally, when we look at words are symbols pointing to something, describing something else. It's like we're looking at the person pointing at the moon and we're trying to describe the moon by watching this person. Like, that's words. Words have so many different distinctions. Like, in our minds, if we say magic and miracles, okay, it's words are helping us identify the way we look at things. It's not like, oh, now every time I hear magic is this, and every time I hear miracles is this. It's a shifting in our own mind, knowing that trusting in our own strength and coming from our own minds to try to manifest things the way we want them to be, that's going to you're going to go down the rabbit hole of separation, pain, chaos, suffering. And when we align ourselves with the will of God or spirit or cosmic intelligence, whatever you want to call it, it's just happening effortlessly. It's called, a lot of people call it flow state, and in that flow, you're in the flow of the direction of the infinite intelligence that's happening in the world. The embryo turns into a baby. It does not need any direction to do it. A seed turns into a plant, into a flower. It doesn't need any direction to do it. We are the seed that is blossoming into something, but we're just fighting and struggling on the way there. It's happening, okay? It's happening regardless of what you want. The embryo, the embryo, the going to turn into the baby. Okay, the embryo is going to turn a tree. It's happening. The only input that you have is you want to around it. Will you take that? Not going the way you go. Getting into a crazy or what not the way we want to, and that's why we lose pieces of have to choose it. And what problem we ever have is our shelf. We choose not be in the flow, not happening. Like, I'm losing my shit over it, but why can't I accept it with grace and allow the miracle to come the way it's supposed to come? You know, miracles showed up after my big fight with my wife last night, right? Like Marion Williamson, like, oh, hey, reads my comment of all comments, 500 people on her live, reads my comment out loud and goes, oh, yeah, your virtual conference, send me an email to, she says her personal email to me. And now I just sent her an email. Like, miracles are always happening. It's a natural expression of life. When miracles are not happening, it is because you are interfering with it. So our only problem is our disconnection to the source, to recognizing and surrendering that it's just something funny came to my mind because you said plans earlier. We're making plans and we don't like the plans. There's a saying like, if you want to make God laugh, make plans. All right. So we're all going down the tunnel. We're all going down the river. We're all headed there. Okay. It says in the course, it says that what was I just reading right now? That the universe is conspiring for love and peace all the time. God is conspiring for that to happen every moment. We just can't see it. We're looking into the room through a little pinhole and we're deciding what is best for me. Not only are we deciding what is best for me, we're deciding what is best for the people around us. We project our own insecurities onto our children, onto our spouses, onto people around us. And in those moments, like, spirituality is to be able to become the witnesser of yourself. There is a witnesser that is witness Alex doing his things. That witnesser is witnessing Whittier. Next to there is to do everything playing out the way it is. And as we can start to see that our own the saving and defending our own identity of Alex. This identity, what is my fault? What is my stance on financial freedom, on politics? What is my defense? We would rather people than how insane we are. It's happened. Wars happen because we accept it to happen. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. If God is all I see because God is on my mind. Now, when I see fear and when I see judgment, when I see attack, all of my attack thoughts, it doesn't do anything but hurt myself. And that's what happened. I've been experiencing all this overwhelm for the last month. I haven't been sharing it. I've been holding it. My wife was like, oh my God, I feel like you're like Superman having all this stuff happening and it doesn't seem to faze you. And because I didn't let it come up, I was hiding it. Spirit couldn't release it for me. And that's what the Course says. First, you own it. That it's nothing outside of you that's creating the discomfort, the triggers. And it's nothing outside. It's not this person. It's not the car. It's not the deal. It's not anything. And it's my mind. I'm not trusting. My faith is in there. Like, that's what's causing it. And then don't hide it. If we don't hide it, then Spirit will just release it just like that out. Spirit, I wrote earlier, Spirit isn't like the Sentinels in Matrix. It isn't going to seek out all of your problems for you and destroy it. It's just simply going to invite you to let the things come up, let the triggers come up, and you start to have a different relationship to these things happening. When we start to have a different relationship to it, our real time, because we don't want to have happen, we hold on to it. We constantly, in my mind, my wife was in a brain state. oh, if she, and part of my mind is saying, do I want to be happy, or do I? Our insanity literally goes, oh, well, if she just did that, or if these things just worked out the way they did, then I would be happy. But that's the case. $1 happy, and we get a fight with the wife, with the spouse. Like, really? So, and it's just to start to of these things coming up. Wisdom is not to make more, better judgments and less. It's literally the relinquishment of judgment as a whole. That's where wisdom comes. And it's not that I shouldn't judge. It's not bad that I judge or not. It's the recognition that I can't even judge. I don't have the capacity or the capability to even judge, because I'm looking at the world through a little pinhole. How can I judge? How can I perceive what's in my own best interest and what's in, and let alone the best interest of the people around me? How? I can't even see anything. And in order to judge, the course says you need to be able to see every single person, every event that ever happened, okay, past, present, and future, how it will affect everybody, and that you must have zero biases in your mind. Who's capable of any of that? So then when you come to a state of judgment, you can start to laugh at it, right? It's not to judge myself for judging now. See, that's the trap. The ego goes into, oh, so that's bad. Let me judge myself for judging. And then we go spiraling down the rabbit hole again, because all attack ends up coming back to attack you anyways. But it's to change our perspective around it. It's to transcend it. And that's the way to see the light and God in ourselves, is to start looking at our brothers and our sisters, not for their words and their actions, look beyond and the purpose. My purpose in life is to bring people closer, to bring myself. Sure, I told you a million times, sure, bro. See the light in the beyond their actions. I see the shoot, the gunman, the people. Can I go beyond action? What capacity of love and understanding and compassion that is the only other we're playing here, is to recognize in ourselves. So, okay, well, thank you, Natalia, for inspiring all that out of me. But you know, the phrase goes, love says I'm everything, wisdom says I'm nothing, and between the two banks I flow. Right? That's it. You just kind of bounce back and forth, and don't collect all bunch of stuff. You're going down the river of life. It's going in the one direction. Just kick your feet up and enjoy it. Don't collect a whole bunch of things and be attached to them. And then when something goes, our heart breaks, and then we lose our shit, and we can't be the loving, we can't enjoy life anymore. We're here for a blip. That's it. We are having this experience for a blip. Can we zoom out and look at our life in that way? Will all this money stuff even matter? Right? Like, we get so caught up. It's in our face. It's right in our face. There's a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. And it talks about how we can be such great coaches for other people. But when it comes up for us, like, wow, we are terrible, because it's right up in our face. There's no space between it. There's no space between what's happening for me and what's happening for somebody else. You know, that's a really great book. You can listen to it on Spotify. But yeah, in this moment, I'm just like, let me send some love over to Marion Williams so that she will say yes to my virtual conference and Legends Impact Summit on 420. That I will get a chance to interview her. Interviewing some people. And it's not even about real estate. It's not about investing. Yeah, things will, but it's about my commitment and my intention to speak on that call. My respect and my honoring of them. But second, to get to honor the things that to share with the audience. I probably sent a virtual summit that I know of it, besides like maybe Grant Cardone, right? And some of those guys. It's not a Zoom virtual meeting. Okay. I've dropped $65,000 into it already. It's going to launch my podcast and it's going to launch my live conference at the end of the year. And I'm putting that out there on this call because this is the most powerful call that I believe I hold. And I want that out into the universe. I want that. I want you guys to hear it. So thank you. Thank you for receiving. Thank you for hearing. Thank you for being here today. There's no accidents of the people that are on this call today. That said, yes, I will come and spend some time with you, even though I'm super busy and I got all this shit in my life that I got to do, that I'll still freaking come on this call and see what Alex is up to. I'm eternally grateful for all of you. So just wanted to express that. So carry on, Natalia, or if anybody wants to share anything, please feel free to raise your hand and just share.
Yeah, I'm not raising my hand. I'm just gonna call from you because that's how I do it. I apologize. I just want to say, dude, you blessed me. Someone said I love Alex. I have much love for you, man, and your movement. The way you're doing it. I know me and you have connected. We'll definitely do the Instagram live and stuff because just same synergies. You blessed me with one thing. I spelled relinquish wrong in it, but for no judgment at all. I was like, I gotta put it out there because that is so true about wisdom when you relinquish judgment. So a lot of times how I learn and process stuff is repeating it back or typing out right or what, like in that action. So I just want to say that I clicked in while I was getting ready, and it already blessed me. You always do.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you. Brooke, I think Brad also wanted to say something, but go ahead, Brooke. Ladies first.
I just thank you. I just say echo with someone else that I didn't realize this calling here. It really hit my heart. I actually not really inspired, but it just made me realize that when I have control, when I'm doing all these things that they're not going, what am I doing wrong? And I look in like, what could I have done different? House is sometimes internalize your story, what happened with you and your wife, helped me realize that it's normal to have those kind of feelings. Just make sure they're directed appropriately. So this was a very eye-opening an emotional call for me. So I appreciate you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brooke. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Every time I see you on a call, and it's not just like when you come on video, obviously amazing, but the picture you have is so perfect. Just such a beautiful expression of who you are and your energy, and it literally lifts me up every time. Literally lifts me as soon as I see you in any Zoom call. So thank you for being here. Brad wanted to share something. Is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is.
Hey guys, how's it going? I got on a little bit late. Wish I would have heard your story, Alex. But I'm at the airport coming back to Miami, and just love that you're doing this podcast or this Zoom because it does enlighten us. I mean, reminds me, I did a poll on social media the other day, and I was like, is it better to go upstream or downstream? And like 95% of the people said it's better to go upstream. And the lesson in that is that obviously downstream is better, right? But people don't realize that. They think that they always have to resist. And if you look at a water versus, or you look at a rock versus water, over time the water always wins, right? And so if you can just surrender, go with the flow, and let life show you what is needed, I think it's a perfect message you're sending, brother.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm so glad that we connected this weekend too. That we got a chance to do that and that you're on this call. Oh, hold on. You're a little loud over there. But here's the thing. We have to know which is upstream and which is downstream. The course actually says we're super confused. We confuse joy and sadness and anger. We confuse all of that. We actually have no idea what brings us joy. And that's why we chase the things we do. And we're going upstream thinking we're going downstream, or we're going downstream thinking we're going upstream. We have no guidance for ourselves. And the way to know is simply to recognize what's an illusion and what's the truth. What's a perspective? Can it change? Right? I can be angry at my wife today. Is that going to change? Is it possible that it changes? I could be happy tomorrow. Yes. Okay. So then this anger isn't the truth. It's an illusion, something from my own mind that I created. Navigating the world when you study the course becomes very simple. It's either love or it's not. If you can bounce it back and forth, it's on 420, Jeff. Sent you that. I sent you that email. I sent you an email. Just check it, bro. And it's to recognize that love is the only way. Love will lead you to heaven. It's actually already here. Love is already here. You just got to see it. You got to get out of the way. And when you just cruise, then over time, when you're in flow state, you'll realize, oh, I am going downstream. You actually don't have a choice. You can't even go upstream. You are going downstream no matter what. You can fight all you want. You can exert all the energy you want in the world to try to go upstream. It ain't happening. Like, you're just going to fight, and you're going to realize that the current's going to win. All right. Like, you will be beat to your knees, and it's not because life is beating you to your knees. It's because you are beating yourself to your knees. Right? That's the first step. Reel that in. It's me. It's nothing else. It's me choosing to be in this resistance to the current, to the downstream current. So, yeah. Nelson, brother, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You can unmute yourself. Nope, that didn't work. There.
There you go. I apologize. I had a call coming in. Good morning. You were saying something to me, and I lost the communication for a minute. Good morning, all. Alex, thank you for your vulnerability, your truth, there, my brother. Thank you for, because what you shared. Were you recording this, by the way, or no?
It's on my Instagram and my YouTube somewhere.
There was some pearls of wisdom there that, for me, when the Tommy said, I got it when I got it, right? Like, lately, I've been listening to Matt Kahn, whatever writers love that, Living Untethered, Marius and Willis with my wife, and now you brought it all together for me. Yes, Michael Singer was on to say that there are teachers that say that in this polarity of life, the yin yang, that you cannot have love without experiencing fear. And I resonated with that. I was like, yeah, that's the purpose of fear, to have love shine, right? How could you know one with the other? How could you know hot without cold? How could you know dry without wet? And it makes total sense in the 3D world, right? In this materialistic polarity world that we have, that we chose to experience. But the truth of life, the truth of the being, the truth of the spirit is that all is love. And what happened is, he goes on to say, and you said it here, Alex, my God, the point of miracles are so amazing. I'm going to dig deeper into it because it's the bomb. It says that the blocks that if we remove the blocks, the peace, that we let the Holy Spirit handle it, then we should know peace is the passage of understanding, right? Drink from the waters of life and all those amazing things. I experienced that. I would never believe it, that would even be real. If out of nowhere, about 5 years ago, I got zapped with that. I got zapped with that, and I would walk by the street, and I would see a piece of paper, and I'd pick it up and put it away with such joy. I would look at a squirrel, and I'd be in awe and wonder of it, a butterfly. I mean, it was like crazy stuff for like a year and a half. I'd walk into businesses, and I looked at the owner with my eyes, and in my mind, I said, how can I serve you?
How can I be here to serve you? What problem do you have? What solution can I be of help to you with? And it was that peace. I don't care if I got the business, if I got the bid, if I got the job. It didn't matter. Now, I must say, I had worked very hard for about 10 years to create some type of passive residual income when money was no longer a factor for me. So I don't know if the combination of having that peace of mind, where I have to worry about my income, my living, and that was gifted to me for like a year and a half. And then I gotta say, an opportunity presented itself in my industry, and new goals were set, and I became that fucking tiger again, man. I traded. I made a choice. I traded that piece, but let's go get it. Because I have this, my lesson here today is I gotta find the boundaries, or the balance between setting the goal, setting that destination, but the journey is the destination. That's what in my mind was telling me, right? So anyways, I want to share that. Thank you, brother. I'm here for you. And one little thing that I heard from a wise teacher, I believe it was in Las Vegas last year when we were in a retreat together. New moment. Excuse me. I love you, brother. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I remember, and the last thing was I remember about a year something ago, right before you're going to go to the Grant Cardone conference for multifamily, I extended an invite to you to stay in my house in Doral, in my little apartment. And I had a big incident with my son-in-law, a huge incident. And I'm telling you about it. And your little face just looks at me and goes, and what part did you have in all this? You didn't explain anything. And you said, oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh, my God, what an asshole. I'm sorry. And what part did you have in all this? Amen. Amen and amen. It's not my brother or my sister, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. I love you. Thank you.
Oh man, thank you, man. Thank you. I love all of your shares, man. You share with so much passion and enthusiasm whenever you share any story. Yeah, that was great. You know,
Can I share something behind my husband's?
oh, hello, my friend.
Oh my God! You see how miracles do happen?
Oh, I didn't even see you. Hello. Yes, of course you can.
Yeah. So I get to say for people curious out there, what happened with his son-in-law? They have a beautiful relationship now. It was a lot of love holding between his daughter and me for them to be to this peace. You know, it's we were like a little whispers in behind them, you know, with a lot of love from source, and they have a beautiful relationship now. So that was like big hiccup that happened in the family about like a year and a half ago, right? So, but now to the sharing part is, you know, when you say all these things about, you know, love and the polarities and everything, it is true, like you say, in the 3D world and in the mind, And but the other day I was listening how, you know, it's like how you explain it, right? But it's always says, if the devil exists, no, the devil doesn't exist. And then some people's like, no, the devil exists. I'm like, well, what this person, you know, reconsider the perception is an absence of love or an absence of God. You know, the dark exists because it's an absence of light. So everything that we see that is unpleasant or somehow unpleasant, you know, in the perception, sorry about that, and the perception that happens around is definitely because it's an absence of the opposition of, right? And then again, how we take it. For me, darkness is a time to rest. We come from the dark womb, you know, and it's a very pleasant space for baby to be, from the embryo fetus to grow. So it will start seeing like that way that other things are there for something else for us to perceive. And it is beautiful. And again, the words that we put into the things or the moments or the circumstances, as Alex said, it's just as beautiful as the pleasant moments. And that's what I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Hey, I never got my mouth guard. All right, Brooke, thank you for being here.
I have the mouth part.
All right, I will get it from you. Hey, Carolyn. You gotta unmute yourself first.
Hello.
Hello.
I have so much to say, but I'm I'm better at writing than speaking. You have been. I want to respond to both you and Natalia. You have been such an influence in my life, and I just love these calls, all that you do, and I'm so grateful for you in my life. I can say more, but I'm not going to right now. Natalia, I wanted to just share with you too. I loved we're all teachers and we're all students. When I was working and pregnant with my daughter, I thought, oh, I would love to give birth to a teenager. I don't really want a young child. When she was born, I was more excited than anybody. It was such a miracle. I loved her every moment. I still do. And as parents, we're supposed to model and raise our children, and we're supposed to teach them. But I have learned so much more from her and have been changed by her in so many ways. And people and children are just gifts. They are wonderful. I also wanted to say that as far as teaching, I have taught all ages, because while she was growing up, I volunteered or taught from preschool to high school. And in every case, I learned at least as much as I was sharing with them. And it's so true. We learn so much when we give, we get so much more in return. It's wonderful. So thank you both.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And it's so good seeing you on all my calls too. You're always like acknowledging, smiling, nodding your head. Like, it brings tremendous energy to me just seeing you on video. And you're always on video. I tell people all the time, like, you want to be, when you're in the space, you command the energy in the space. There's 50 people in the room. You can command the entire energy of the space. Turn your camera on, recognize the power that you have to influence how this room turns out. And when you nod and you smile, it just gets me more connected, more confident in what I'm doing, what I'm saying. So thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Jeff, the entrepreneur.
Say this, I was so overwhelmed by everything. To echo everything, there was a quote, and you shared this, and I'll be kind of vulnerable here, because you're vulnerable at your own point. When you talked about your wife and what it was, and do I want to be happy or be right? I used to bartend. So those who don't know me, I'm Jeff the Entrepreneur. I'm going to build, in honor of my older brother who I lost to drugs fentanyl about 5 years ago, a coffee shop music studio that we had in a dream. It was exactly what you embody, Alex. It's the heart, mind, and soul of what truly matters, and really just by being in that way. And when you said that, I used to ask everybody when I was a bartender, what's one wedding tip? What's one tip you have? Because the one thing that scared me the most was getting married and marrying the wrong girl, because I watched my older brother who passed away marry the wrong girl, and I wound up really, the drugs fentanyl was all affected by this woman taking over his mind, right? I call it in the Bible, there was a girl, actually, I just fell pretty hard for last month in Miami, to be very vulnerable. And my dad was like, hey, don't fall for a Delilah. You got to look it up. And all my friends like, this girl's playing you, and she was, I don't want to get too much into it, but she was all, we're doing role play, sales pitch, looking over KPIs on the beach. I'm like, this is the one, right? Because I work all the time. But came out to Columbia here to do a consulting gig for one of the companies that's doing a licensee model as well. And when it was in there, I asked everybody who's married 30 years, 50, what one tip you have? And they said something very similar to what you said. Don't fight to win, fight to resolve, right? And it was very like you said today, am I fighting to be right or that? And the one point, I think, where I am in my flow state, where very much like you, Alex, I see everything going on. And the old me, and this is part of growth and wisdom and maturity, used to be, what's the word? I think this happens to everybody. You compare yourself to something. Oh, you want all this real estate, and I didn't, right? And I'm so excited because for you, that's why I asked when the date was. I just wrote it down here. However, I can be a part of all your virtual event, your podcast, to unify another message. Because me and you, we click on so many of the same Thanks. I was actually just telling my other guy here, one of the trainings that I'm going to that you went to, like, yep, go to it, man. It was amazing, and it's just such the selfless way. So a lot of times too, when you find someone about a mission and you uplift them, this is how I blew up my brand in my flow state, was finding people like you, like mission. However, I can be a part of it is what led me to where, and I am, and I mean this in the most, I almost feel, what's the word? So blessed, so grateful that I am in flow state. That I think Brad said it before, that I am going the easy way with the current, right? I was grinding so hard because I want to be that hustler, the Gary Vee guy going against it. And now I'm so, everything's clicking. We just hosted a guy at a lunch the other day out here, and it's just, you already know who's right and who's wrong. And a lot of that's asking from wisdom from God. I can't give myself any credit, but really God having a full hand on me and giving God. I mean, I see you and God giving gifts and abilities, and you're acting them out. So I'm so excited for this virtual conference. I'm so excited everything we're gonna build together. I'm so excited for your live event. And I'm just right now saying, like, I can just see what God's working in you and the blessing that's gonna be on it. It is a movement, man. And the last thing I'm gonna say is, when I was arrogant, back when I was young, when I was a football player and I thought I was all that, which we all go through that thing, I used to have a movie, okay, that was Legend. It was about me. I used to tell my brother. I was very embarrassing to admit this, right? And I used to make a shot there and make a movie called Legend out of me. And it wasn't until I gave up all that, started doing it, people started calling me Legend, it felt weird. And when I saw you, this is why it's so important to wear your brand of material, with the shirt Legend and what you embody in your energy, I said, that's a true legend, man. I want to get behind it. I still have the shirt. I sleep. I don't want to get too much into the details, but like, she's like, I like that shirt. I was like, I love this shirt. So we'll get her to come to the conference, and to be continued with all that. Who knows what? I don't know what my future holds, but I know who holds my future. So I just wanted to share that, Alex.
Dude, amazing. And you have such amazing gifts, and I see you playing it out and just, and giving it. You're giving your gifts, and I see it. People that are on a mission, like, this is why I love Las Vegas a lot, because everyone is mastering a craft here. The lighting, whoever is doing lighting here in Vegas, they're mastering lighting, special effects, Cirque du Soleil performances, arts, like, everything is just in mastery here in Vegas. If you look beyond, the drinking and the gambling, all that noise, there are artists that are mastering things, and I want to be around those energies. I want to master my craft. I want to master my speech. I want to master how I show love in my life. And I'm working really hard on it. And these are calls that are yeah, Brad, definitely. There I want to be around that. And I want to be around people like you who are embracing the gifts that's given to you and sharing it with the world, through your business. There's no reason why we can't monetize our gifts. That's the point of it. The more people we can share our gifts with, the more thank yous. That's money right there. It's a thank you. It's a gratitude from the universe. You have to understand how much you're worth to even be able to accept and receive the thank yous that are coming to you. Right. So I look forward to more things to work with you on, and Brad too, and everybody here. Like, we have things to do together, and I'm always in the exploration of that. And Ciro, go ahead, brother. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. How you doing? Hey, I just want to share. I just want to say that the devil is real, and what you and your wife Katarzyna are doing is it's a fight against the enemy. It's a fight against the devil. So you guys are going to have constant battles that I'm just on personal experience. You have to see your wife like, she is more important than anything else. Business or team, she is more important than anything else. Because as Christ loved the church, we have to love our wives the same way. And this society, they lost that. That's why divorces are like, 50+% in this country. You know, I truly believe, you are lifting a team that it will glorify God first. And it's a path that will have, so many holes bed. You know, guys, I'm talking especially to your wife. I truly understand what you guys are going through because I live, you know, um, in so many fights with my wife that I understand that, somebody has to say, hey, forgive me. Even though if, the person is not the guilty one, somebody has to say, come on, let's do it together. You guys can do it because you guys are not by yourself. You guys have a team behind you. And my life changed when I see God first, not my wife. And when I get closer to God, I see my wife more closer than me. So put your life, on my personal life, I put God first, and it's just making me so happy and so blessed. And I see my wife more beautiful every day because of that, because I see God first. Thank you, Alex, and thank you to your wife, for being here. I know she's here on the call, and that's why I want to mention that. And we respect you, and behind a great man is a wonderful woman, and I know she has your back. And God bless you both.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So, anybody else want to share anything? Wow, a lot of people on Instagram live watching all this and me sharing about my life to the whole freaking world. Okay, well, I'll read some. Oh,
Oh, let me mention something. Really, before what you're sharing, I know something private that when you open up to the public or when you open up to your friends, you know, you are conquering the problem. The problem is not there anymore, bro. It's like, you know what? I know we have private lives, but this is a community, and what God says is, share in Christian community, share with people that loves you, and you'll see the weight is not there. The weight is less and less when you share. And I know it probably is very private, your problems, because everyone has problems, and we usually don't share. But that's a lie from the enemy. You guys are blessed, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me read a quick sentence here in so this is another one of Marion Williamson's book called A Year of Miracles. And so this is on a day 10 lesson. So it's for reflection on becoming who you are. Wherever you've been and whatever you've done so far, your entire life was building up to this moment. Now is the time to birth forth into your greatness, a greatness you could never have achieved without going through exactly the things you've gone through. Everything you've experienced was grist for the mill by which you have become who you are. As low as you might have descended, in God, there are no limits on how high you can go now. It's not too late. You are not too damaged. In fact, you are better than you know. So I tried to live in that, all of my accomplishments, all of my challenges, everything that has happened to me, all of my so-called failures, quote unquote failures, have led me to this moment. How can I make this call great? Sometimes we get caught up in the I need to prepare. Am I ready for this? You are always ready for this moment. And yeah, I'm on the verge of doing, I feel like, on a big breakthrough of something. And of course all this stuff is going to come up. Of course I'm going to have challenges on a deal that I'm working on right now. Of course there's going to be challenges in my marriage. All this stuff is happening so that I can become the person I need to be to serve the people out there. So I'm recognizing that, and it's hard. But it's hard only because I have not surrendered to it. I have not accepted what I've chosen for my life, what God has chosen. So Yeah, thank you all for witnessing today. For all the people that are out there that witness this, for any of you guys that are watching the replays, and for all of you guys that are live here and helping me and co-creating this miracle moment. Miracles, the Course says miracles are maximum extensions of love. We have no idea the impact of this call today, on everybody. No idea. None of us. Right. So, yeah, that's right, Brad. We are struggling to accept the fact that we are infinity, that we are love. That's what we're struggling with. Yvette, hello. Gotta unmute first.
Hi, everybody. Yes, what an inspiration, a moment in spirit. We're all together and beautiful. But the level of connection, I'm grateful for you opening this space and opening your heart, being vulnerable about you, your life, and that I'm in the student position here and learning from you how it's okay to open up. It's okay to be human. It's okay to share our challenges, and it's okay to realize that we all live it. We all go back into the dream. We all go back into the fear, into the negative energy, and then we're afraid to come back. We're afraid to be judged by others. And I just want to thank you for that, for teaching me that gives a level of connection, a deep level, where it's, it guides you towards your purpose and towards the people that you're going to be serving. And so thank you very much for being open. And we don't have to be perfect all the time and correct all the time, and it's not real, right? And so thank you very much for that. That's a big lesson, just listening to you and acknowledging that living inside with a partner is not always easy, and it's something that we have to work on every day. It's a day to day. It's not a forever after, for all the time. No, it's like we need to value ourselves and value the people around us. So thank you very much for all that you're sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Claudia.
Coming. Sorry about that. So what I wanted to share is about Alex, your vulnerability that you always show when you're super busy and creating mode and doing that. This is gonna be 6 years this year that we know each other. It's been a long time, and I get to say that I always feel so safe around you. And what I want to say with this to the people that is in the media is that, oh my God, it's so beautiful to understand that you are real, you're a real human being, that you are not making up all these stories, that you are not, someone that's just trying to create something to become something else. It's just because you are the way you are. So that's what I wanted to say for the people on Instagram, for the people on Facebook, whoever you are live, and obviously the people here, but they know this, the ones that are very close to you, the ones that are in the Zoom link, because we always here every Wednesday and every Sunday, and being more in proximity to you. but it's for the ones out there that maybe they think it's not real, but you are a real human with a real marriage, with a real wife, with a real beautiful life, with the ups and downs. So that's what you want to share. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm a real human being, y'all, for those of you guys watching on live. Oh.
That reminded me of something I heard once, is that perfection is not relatable. And it doesn't exist, right? And so I thought of two things. One that came to mind, and then when Yvette was sharing, also in moments like this, when I step into doing things like that, when I open with my friends and family, when I open, it feels like liberating, because it can feel so heavy sometimes to carry stuff like that. And in moments like that, I feel like that's when the healing occurs. And when we get to share and be vulnerable with others. And I think, we just witnessed that in you sharing with us and opening up and being vulnerable with us. And that it's relatable, whether it's, whether we've experienced it before in previous relationships or have in future ones, or also too in other areas of our lives. So thank you again for being that for us.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so we'll take last share from Marlene, and maybe Natalia, you can take us out with the final words and lesson for the day. Go ahead, Marlene.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you, everybody. I have been really quiet today because I've been just taking in all the wisdom and the love and just everything that has been shared today in this call. And one thing, once again, I want to say, Alex, is that it does take a courageous heart to open up to everybody, because I think I've mentioned to you before, every time I've seen that you open this quote to first your social media and then finally in LinkedIn, I was like, okay, this is it. I cannot share anymore. Because this is in this space, in LinkedIn, where it's supposed to be all professional and we show only what we are good at. And so forget about me, sharing again. And here I am talking about it once again. I come from the construction industry. I have done sales the last 20 years, and I am so almost fed up really with that over confident character, especially male character, but I would say both genders really, to gain that business in, to get the lead, to win, right? So now I know I'm in front of a new possibility. And definitely, once again, want to praise you as a leader, because you just allow us all be who we are. And today someone shared, I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds my future. And that is just faith, right? So just stay within that knowledge. It's not even faith, it's knowing that is the case. We all hold you, Alex, just as much as you hold us. If you hold this space, you hold this community. So it has been just beautiful to witness and to see Natalia sharing, and to see, you are really literally creating new leaders and making that possible. See Nick's call this last week. This week actually, you just allow that to happen. It's so many different small miracles really happening around you. And I think we all are part or able to do that in our lives. You are just letting us know that is there, that possibility is there. So once again, just thank you, everybody. And yeah, I'm just beyond grateful right now. And I think from that feeling, so many different things can happen, right? And only good things will. And to love here, I hope you are also listening, because you are on the edge or the verge of miracles, not only in your relationship, but within your own heart and, your own reality every day. So all of us, we love you guys. And thank you once again.
Thank you. All right. So, yeah. Natalia, go ahead and, give us the last words and maybe a lesson or a prayer out of this call today. And, may all blessings just shine bright, and be seen in the world today.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Yeah, along the lines of what Marlene said, and it's interesting that I started the lesson with the student and the teacher. I think you do that also so beautifully. You allow us, and vulnerable too. You allow everybody in your space to grow around you, and thank you for that. Ooh. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me the space to speak, to connect with everyone here, to lead with you. And thank you, everybody, for listening in. And I have opened the book in lesson 329. And it says, I have already chosen what you will. Father, I thought I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will more powerful than yours. Yet what I am, in truth, is but your will, extended and extending. This am I, and this will never change. As you are one, so am I one with you. And this I chose in my creation, where my will became forever one with yours. That choice was made for all eternity. It cannot change and be in opposition to itself. Father, my will is yours, and I am safe, untroubled, and serene in endless joy because it is your will that it be so. Today, we will accept our union with each other and our source. We have no will apart from His, and of us, and all of us are one because His will is shared by all of us. Through it, we recognize that we are one. Through it, we find our way at last to God. Amen. Aho.
Amen. Aho. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you on Sunday. And one of these days coming up, I'm going to do a whole day marathon. So if you have not seen or if you're not on the email list, just go onto my Instagram, and the link is in the bio to be a part of the ACIM reminders of whenever I do anything around the Course of Miracles. So much blessings to everybody. Thank you all for being here and being witness and receiving and giving. You are all amazing, and may love and peace reign upon your day today. And we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.